Welcome to The Reveal, a show where news is made.
You're supposed to protect your kids, but when you fail in that responsibility, our laws, the state and police have a duty to step in. But in the case of a young Georgia girl, all her safety nets failed her and allowed her attacker time and space to continue to abuse her. School was one of those few consistent places Sophie could go and enjoy just being a kid. It was a place she could eat, play, and laugh with other fifth graders. And for a few hours a day, get a break from her unstable home life.
And she's very special. All of them are, but she was born premature, yellow jaundice.
That was then. On this particular day, the little girl is 9. We're calling her Sophie to protect her.
Your granddaughter has been through so much.
She has. And for her to keep living and be strong, she has an angel with her.
Police were also with her February 2016 as she got off the school bus into her grandmother's van.
All of a sudden, Grantville Police Department surrounds me.
Sophie had realized during sex education class that the man who was touching her at home was actually sexually abusing her. She told her elementary school administrators. They alerted police, and officers were now speaking to her grandmother.
What did they tell you exactly?
That she claimed that he had touched her.
He was 34-year-old Nicholas Dion Thrash. He was Sophie's mother's live-in boyfriend.
There was never a sign at all of any kind of child molestation.
After the interviews with her, I knew that he had done something.
Hogansville police investigator Jeff Shepard remembers taking over the case from Grantville police because this house, where Thrash was abusing little Sophie, was just minutes from his police station.
What made this one so believable?
How does a 9-year-old make something up that graphic and traumatic? You can tell when somebody really is desperate for your help.
As Lieutenant Shepard and social workers with the Division of Family and Children's Services were busy making sure Sophie is physically okay, Thrash disappears.
And it was as if he fell off the face of the earth. Where is Nicholas Thrash? Mom says that she hasn't seen him, she can't get him on the phone. We know during the interviews that the children say that Mom's talking to him on the phone.
It was Lieutenant Shepard's first sign that Sophie's mother would become one of the biggest obstacles in his investigation.
Mom did not even come to the house for the search warrant.
But Lieutenant Shepard and his team went inside and found clothes, blankets, and underwear in Sophie's room, clear with DNA evidence. But Mom still wanted the case dropped.
But Mom had started then. You know, this case, you know, my daughter's, you know, I don't think she's telling the truth. I told her then that my case is going to be based on this DNA, and that's what I'm waiting on.
There was a defense order saying Sophie needed to be kept away from Thrash. Her mother still drove her hundreds of miles out of state to reunite with Thrash in Indiana before defects could stop her.
Do you think your daughter was in denial?
My daughter was brainwashed, very naive and searching and just trying to find a man to love her.
Sophie and her brother were once again sleeping under the same roof with her abuser, this time in this house in Indiana.
They were in a safety plan with me through Coweta County defects. They couldn't wait on evidence to come in, so they released them back to. What else can I do?
Grandma waited, hoping they would come back. During that time, Lieutenant Shepard was also waiting for the DNA test results.
Because at the time, we didn't have a warrant on paper yet, because there's believing somebody, but then there's getting the evidence to get the warrants.
The wait gave Thrash the space and time he needed to continue abusing Sophie outside Georgia.
Maybe I got some tunnel vision on the investigation. I didn't put a rush on the DNA.
The test results did eventually come back. Almost 2 years later, it confirmed Thrash had been raping the 9-year-old in this Troup County house. But it was too late. By then, he had raped her multiple times again in Indiana, and she was now pregnant with the 34-year-old's baby.
He is a sick individual, very sick, very sick. Who hurts a baby that way? Who?
He's robbed her of her entire childhood. It's one of those cases that makes you regret because I did everything. I did, you know, she did what she was supposed to do. She went and told somebody. She told an adult. Shows even though the wheels are in motion and they're turning, sometimes they just don't seem to turn fast enough for the victim. And with everything we did, all that we could do, and everything in the power of the law and staying within the manner of the law, to me, we weren't fast enough.
What happened in this case, Faith?
Well, the law finally caught up with Sophie's mother and Thrash. They're both in prison right now. Thrash will spend 160 years behind bars.
Yeah, what are the other systems that failed Sophie? Are there any consequences for this?
According to Sophie's grandmother, 2 DFACS workers were fired for dropping the ball, but we haven't been able to confirm that because DFACS doesn't comment on cases.
What about Sophie and her baby? What happens now?
She had that baby just a few days shy of her 11th birthday. That baby is in foster care in Indiana. As for Sophie herself, we're told she's in a mental health facility for trying to take her own life. Safe to say, she has a lot of healing to do.